Hey guys, ArcliteTank here, bringing you a brand new commentary, and boy am I glad to be back, bringing you this game between Silver and IdrA. So IdrA is one of the more famous players for StarCraft 2, and he has a fan club, a hate club, and a lot of people dislike him. A lot of people, especially on the comments from these two replays for these two games that I've got here, they didn't like him very much. So it kind of surprises me. I like IdrA's playstyle. He can get a little bit of he can say stuff in text sometimes that he may regret later, but I do like his playstyle. And Silver, I've heard his name, he sounds familiar, but I haven't been commentating in a very long time, so I'm not exactly familiar with who he is. I feel like I should know him, though. So he's going to go for a supply depot inside of his base, which a lot of the times when we see, especially against Zerg, the supply depot in the base means he's going to block this off with a barracks and then later a factory, which he should be going for a refinery pretty soon if he's going to do that, and then he can get the quick reactor onto that factory and go ahead with the Hellion harass. And IdrA sending a scout out now to the 12 o'clock or the 1 o'clock position, and it looks like he is going to find nothing there, so it looks like he's going to point it again to another base. So he's also got another scout heading out. Looks like it's going to be heading in the general direction, or maybe just sitting there on his ramp or something. Who knows at this point. And it looks like he's probably going to go for one of his styles that we see a lot, which is the 16 hatch, where he normally just takes his natural expansion right off the bat at 16 supply. So it gets him a good economy early on, but he kind of gets the Zerglings out late, early Zerglings out late, and that's what this kind of strategy is good for if he does go for that factory and reactor combo. So Silver now taking the gas, and that's good timing. Maybe a little bit late, but he does not have that many SCVs, so it's kind of good timing. And now he's going to wait till he gets up to 100 gas, and then once he gets up to 100 gas, he's probably going to go for that factory. And this Overlord just kind of wandering around now near this Minx statue, and he's not going to find anything the direction he's headed, but it looks like a probe or a drone scout is going to find Silver's base, and he's going to find the factory here at the bottom with no supply depots around it, so he's going to see there's not going to be an early wall, and normally that can let you know that your Terran player is not going to be too worried about the Zergling rush. And a orbital command now coming in for Silver. So Silver kind of, it looks like he's chasing that drone, which it looks like he broke off to continue mining minerals, and IdrA is going to get a good look at that base. So back at IdrA's base, we've got the spawning pool almost out right now, and that'll allow him to get a queen, and he'll start being able to speed up. And he's also got a gas here, so he may be going for roaches, or he may be going for a quick lair into hydras or maybe mutas. I've seen a couple of his games where he goes mutas, and it looks like this is a great strategy. A bunker being built here by Silver to block IdrA's 16 hatch. So that could be very bad for IdrA, because IdrA does have this this kind of a weight put onto him getting that 16 hatch with this unit, so he could either try and take this out and go for his natural, which will take him longer and it'll give him a significant delay, or he could go head out to somewhere like the high yields or somewhere where he might be a little bit less protected, but it could benefit him if he does that, but it is a gamble. So he's going to leave this bunker here building, and that is especially a great investment because it slows the economy, and it's not done yet, so it's not going to finish, and he's going to be able to cancel that once it gets low. So he got about 25 minerals is what that cost him, especially with this SCV getting away. And now he's got the factory going down. So he's probably going to float this barracks, or land it right there actually, and start building a reactor on there so that he can hop his factory over there and take advantage of the increased production. Which it looks like he's actually at the moment just trying to get a couple Marines out, because he denied that 16 pool that 16 hatch from IdrA, but IdrA is going to start producing probably Zerglings now that he sees that he's got that denied, and he needs to spend a little bit more money there. But he did go for the 16 hatch in his natural anyways. He used those Zerglings to take it out early, and it looks like he's getting ready to drop a creep tumor, which is what we see him do a lot. We see him go for that early creep tumor, there it is, rather than using that larva ability, the spawn larva ability, which is very useful for an early game and giving an advantage. And it looks like he pushed a little bit of an attack with these Zerglings. He's just sitting outside of Marine range now, and he's going to be able to block any type of expansion from Silver. But Silver is not going to go with reactor. He's just going to go straight to the factory and start producing these Hellions to get these Zerglings off his back, which Speedling's now in for IdrA. Let's take a look at production. IdrA just bringing in some more Zerglings, and we see a single Marine coming from Silver, so that's maybe a good choice that he didn't go for the reactor. And this SCV is just kind of sitting here just freaking out, which it looks like he's trying to keep his APM up, which let's take a look at APM. And players are evenly matched APM. They're both okay APM. You know, it's nothing amazing, but it's pretty average for pro to be around that area. And it looks like he's just he's got a small number of Zerglings, enough to keep in a harass, and enough to defend against a Hellion, early Hellion harass, especially without this reactor. He's not going to be able to produce them fast enough. But he did build a second one inside of his base, and he did put a tech lab on this one, and he's going for the Hellion pre-igniter, which that'll give him an advantage with these Hellions. And he is moving out with his Marines now. So with that amount of Marines, which isn't that much, but still, they could be used to support these Hellions. And Speedlings, though, the Speedlings are very good, and those Marines will be very good at countering them when they're behind the Hellions, because the Hellions can move up and do damage while keeping the Marines behind them to throw out a ton of damage. And he's also got another Hellion coming from this factory. So he's also got his factory up here producing just the upgrade for Hellions, which is about halfway done. So he may try and push even more of an attack. Once that is done, he may just be positioning units or getting ready to expand at this moment, which he does need to expand if he wants to catch up economically. IdrA is soon to have this base up and running totally, and he does only have a spine crawler protecting it there, and he needs to get this extractor up, and he needs to get some more stuff if he decides to go anything with this layer, because he does have the layer now. And if he wants to go Hydra, or if he wants to go Muta especially, he needs to have at least this extractor up, so that you can start pulling in gas there. And it looks like he's not going to go for that right away. It looks like he's maybe trying to get a few more drones on minerals before he goes for it, which means he probably isn't going Muta, because Muta is very heavy on gas. So what I suspect to see from him is maybe a Hydra build, because Hydra is also very heavy on minerals and not just gas. So let's take a look at Silver's base now. Silver's still kind of making just Hellions at the moment. Let's see if he's going for siege upgrade. And no, he's not going for siege upgrade, but he does have a siege tank producing, and he does have an armory producing. So he may just be trying to get an upgrade on his tanks. And we do actually see a Spire, which is odd from IdrA, but it looks like he did take that second extractor, and he is building a few more spine crawlers just to hold this base for the moment. And it looks like the early game may go to Silver. If the battle kicks off early, it will go to Silver. And the only thing that could save IdrA is his economy, A, and B, if this Spire gets out, and if he can just kind of like stay out of the action until that Spire gets up, or do enough of a harass that he can kind of pin Silver down, which Silver only has a few Marines for anti-air defense. He doesn't even have an engineering base, so he couldn't even build turrets at the moment. And he is building Thors, though, which Thors are very good for against Mutas. Normally, any type of ground-to-air is great for anti-air for all of the races. Stalkers and Hydras, and even Marines in a large number are very good against air. So still just a small amount of Zerglings here, and not that many of them. It looks like there's only 22 in his whole collection of them. So let's take a look at units really quickly. And actually, that's 12. I'm sorry. He had them both lined up on hotkeys. And looks like he's got one. He sent this one out, and it looks like he's just looking around the base. He's going to see those Hellions, and he may have seen those tanks and Marines, but if the tank and the Marine were up on this ledge, he wouldn't have seen them. So it looks like Silver's going to move out, which if Silver does push the attack right now, he will take the win quite easily. But it looks like the Spire's out, so as soon as IdrA, if he can kind of keep using the spawn larva ability, and if he can build more Mutalisks and get those Mutalisks out very quickly, he can have a shot at killing that Thor and then killing the Marines, which would leave just Hellions and a tank. But the Hellions in the tank, even if he does get those Mutas out, they could do enough damage by the time that the Mutas arrive to kind of stop IdrA from having any late game, which IdrA now lifting his spine crawlers up, and he's going to reroute them, and they're going to be down just in time for these tanks, and he's got them in the perfect position to fight off these tanks and everything. But the tank does not have siege ability, so he can't take advantage of that to take out the spine crawlers. He'll have to just go head on with them. And a small number of Mutas, only 5 of them out now, which those 5 will be good if these 2 Thors can go down, but the 2 Thors are too powerful. And the big difference you see here is Silver invested money in his units, and IdrA put it in the economy. So IdrA, if this game goes any longer, IdrA may be able to pull the win, but if Silver pushes this attack and he goes for it, he can win this, which it looks like he's just kind of killing the creep tumors. And looks like the Mutas are heading out now, a few more of them. Looks like there's about 7 of them heading out now, or he's got 8 rather, sorry. It looks like there's one sitting here also. Yeah, he does have 9 of them at the moment, and no upgrades on the line for them. Let's take a look at production again. And he is up on the worker count, which Looks like weapons, one for Thors is coming out. Thors and tanks and Hellions all in one, their weapons. And he did go for this engineering bay, and he does have another command center sitting in his base. And it looks like that turret is going to be there to defend against these guys. And these guys are going to take out this reactor, though. So that reactor will kind of slow siege tank production, and it will stop any siege tanks that are being produced. And no more Thors after this. So it will stop the siege ability from being produced down there, but he does not, I'm not sure if he knows about this one up here, if IdrA knows. And it looks like there's going to be a few more turrets now, seeing that this attack is prime, and it looks like he just took down a few of those spine crawlers, and a good amount of Zerglings now, which Zerglings will be good, especially against a unit like a Thor or a tank. Thors are kind of vulnerable to that surround, and especially combined with the damage that these guys can throw out. If they're kind of concentrating on Zerglings, they can do a lot of damage from the Mutalisk. Looks like he's going to take out a few workers, nothing big. It looks like those guys were just being sent down here to set up the refineries. And it looks like he's going to go back down. He may be going for this command center or the reactor. It looks like he was going for the reactor, which was under the command center. So let's take a look. It's about to burn down. So Silver could get an SCV over there quite easily, and it looks like he's going to do that. And he is going to repair that before it goes down and maintain that capability to produce Thors. So IdrA taking, looks like not too many losses on his units. He is producing Mutalisks faster than he is losing them at the moment, but he did take some damage and he did lose a couple. So it looks like he's going to head back now for the supply depot, which is kind of out on the fringe, not really protected by anything. And there's nothing here except for this one Thor right here, which could protect it. And it looks like that will put Silver in the negative, because Silver is at supply cap right now, so that's very bad for Silver. If he loses this, his production is totally stopped at the moment. He's got to get more supply depots. Let's take a look in his base. He has no supply depots coming up, so it looks like he's going to have to waste some energy from his orbital command and call down a supply depot upgrade. So IdrA is kind of controlling the match, and it looks like Silver could have pushed it earlier. He could have taken it, but now he's just got to focus on his economy. He's got to kind of protect these two bases and get his economy caught up to IdrA's, which it looks like it's a losing battle for him at the moment. Unless he can keep producing these Thors and do something that will counter these Mutalisks very well, then he has no win in sight. Which Mutalisks are good, but when they're confronted by Thors and they don't have support, it's very bad for them. And let's take a look at the units tab once again. Oh, sorry, that was the unit tab. And he does have 29 Zerglings, which that's a good amount. He needs more if he wants to try and push this against Thors, though. So he's also got this evolution chamber just finished, and it looks like he may go for carapace upgrade for the ground units, which is very good for Zerglings because they can get in there and they can get that surround and basically hold those units down with that carapace upgrade rather than going for weapons. So he's also building more Zerglings, and he's kind of keeping his minerals down low. His minerals are the limiting factor in his build at the moment. And let's take a look into Silver's base. Silver's got these turrets. It looks like he's kind of on the defensive. He's trying to sneak in some supply depots and areas where he'll be covered. And it looks like he's going to try and move out because he does have 4 Thors now, which those Thors, combined with the SCV repair and combined with the Marines he's got mixed in there, can do very good against these Mutalisks. If these Mutalisks try and go head on with these Thors, they'll just be absolutely destroyed. But what he does, he doesn't have any protection at his base, which is very bad for Silver. Silver is producing 2 Thors, or 1 Thor and a siege tank, but it looks like that doesn't matter because Silver's gonna looks like he's gonna take this loss at this barracks. Sorry, kind of fumbling there, but he's gonna take the loss of the barracks, and his Mutalisks are gonna have free reign. But it looks like he's heading into IdrA's base. It looks like he's behind the natural now, and this could give him the economic lead if he can take out all these drones. And he does have a large number of units here, which it looks like the Zerglings are gonna sit back and wait for Mutalisk support. The Mutalisks are heading back now, but it looks like the Zerglings are heading right in, and they're just taking a lot of hits from Thors, which Thors are great at one-hitting Zerglings. And a couple of Mutalisks now going down, and it looks like those Hellions are doing a great job there, just suppressing those Zerglings and stopping those Zerglings from doing anything good. So now it's just Thors and Marines versus these Mutalisks, and whoever wins this may go for the win. And IdrA kind of getting a little bit pissed off there, and talking about the Thors, and he's just left the game, no GG, just kind of pissed off about how he had the early advantage if he would have gone for it, and he also had the mid-game advantage that he could have gone for, but those Thors came out. So I will be casting Game 2. Check my channel for that. I actually have an annotation probably somewhere around here for it, so thank you for watching, and good night.